Collingwood has some explaining to do. This was another shocking, sequel to a very sad story in their history, Caro. And Heriti Lumumba's claims in the Herald Sun today were very difficult to read. Your thoughts including an allegation around inappropriate and highly inappropriate comments in a team meeting.
A disgusting allegation made about a pornographic photograph,
yes,
quite abusive towards women, involving 4 men. I can't find anyone at Collingwood today, or who was there at the time, Craig, who is actually saying to me that this did not happen. No one's confirming it did happen, but no one is all the people I spoke to said they had no recollection of it. I can tell you that the Collingwood president, Jeff Brown, who wouldn't discuss it today, he was at the club today. Mark Anderson, who met with the president, Jeff Brown, has decided to investigate these claims, particularly the one about the assistant coach and the pornographic image showed to a group of players. Just horrifying to think that this is going on in the last decade. Just absolutely horrifying to me. The AFL is they seemed a bit in denial, but also
the
interesting.
AFL need to look into it too, don't they?
They should, yeah. And they're not saying they are at the moment. In fact, they're saying that there's no proof, etc. But it's interesting. Collingwood at the moment have no media manager. Their former media manager's gone. Their new media manager has not started. They've hired Liz Lucan, who of course was working for Essendon and a very senior employee for a long time at the AFL, to come in and troubleshoot this one because they're taking it so seriously. The Lumumba camp's timing is unbelievable. The latest consequence, I guess, from the Do Better report was going to be announced today, as it has been, in a press release, if you want to read it, about the truth-telling process, and yet Lumumba and his team have come out with this yesterday.
So Collingwood would say, in fact, we'll hear from Nathan Buckley in a moment, that they would say that they don't want to address individual claims because that will give credence one way or another what they are and aren't responding to.
Mark Anderson confirmed to me tonight that he is investigating that specific claim. Although no one involved is at the club anymore, they believe that they need to get to the bottom of this.
Are you saying because no one emphatically said this did not happen and would not happen here, that you think there is a degree of merit in the possibility that it happened with a rogue assistant coach?
There is a fear and a suspicion.
It was horrible to read.
That it may be true. And who would make that stuff up? And how much would Lumumba hate the club that he would make that up? It doesn't feel made up to me.
Yet,
and as
to
I said, no one's
today, he says he puts his head on the pillow at night comfortably, and that there's a version of events there, and
you couldn't dispute that Nathan has addressed everything that's come his way as aggressively as he can.
He wouldn't. Well, can we have a listen to the interview he did today? Because he didn't quite specifically address that one, Craig.
I'm not going to be drawn into detail, and I'm not going to say that Heriti is right here, wrong here, because that is his perspective of the truth. But there are other versions of the truth that are a long way away from the way that he perceives it. Mine is very different from what he presents. It seems that Heriti doesn't really want to move forward unless there's, I don't know, heads need to roll. I mean, I don't know exactly what he's looking for or what his requirements are to feel like he has been heard. He has been apologised to. I've apologised to him. The club has apologised to him. For the environment that he has been in.
So there was, the club keeps saying they're not sure about Heritia's motivation.
What's his ideal? What does he want to happen?
Well, what he doesn't want is to talk to Collingwood as part of their truth-telling process because he doesn't trust them.
He's decided the media is a better platform forward.
Yep. And I understand Nathan's point. He might have absolutely no idea about these allegations about the pornographic image, but Collingwood need to investigate this. They need to, and I understand what Nathan says about specifics, but Collingwood need to address this, and so do the AFL. If that is still going on in the last decade in a competition that has introduced AFLW around that same time, even if they weren't, it's just so shocking to me.
So I agree with you that Collingwood and the AFL need to investigate that specific claim.
Gary Pert, by the way, has denied the allegation.
You can understand,
about himself.
Nathan's view that if you there's things that clearly many at Collingwood have a wildly different lens and perspective of. So if you start arguing on one point or another, this might go on for years.
I think this is serious. This is not racial. This is deeply offensive and cultural. And
it's doing brand damage by the day, isn't it? It's something that's not that that's a factor in this, but it's not going to go away for Collingwood. He's not like Heredia's going to wake up one day and say, I'm fine with this.
Football needs to make peace with its past,
Yeah.
just as Hawthorn does in a very different and less serious way, but very serious way still with Cyril Rioli.
Hutch, I just want to bring up something on field. Obviously, Kane has raised it, and a few of us have raised what happened with Darcy Moore over the weekend. I believe, so we'll just look at this starting position. I know it's been done. So this is a starting position of one of Tom Lynch's goals, just how far he is off. Today, either Craig McRae has gone to Darcy and said, you cannot play like this. That was unaccountable football. Or Darcy Moore walks into Craig McRae's office and says, I can't play the way you're asking me to play.
Didn't they create the problem?
It's been going on.
Well, Collingwood have coached him into...
Yeah, well, Jack Madgton did it with Jeremy Cameron 4 weeks ago, and he had goals kicked on him left, right and centre. It's one or the other.
It has to be an instruction, doesn't it?
Yeah, one or the other party has to go to each other.
They've benefited from it for a long time.
When?
They've been rolling the dice on him for the last 2 years.
Darcy?
Yeah.
Well, I think as your team's a developing team, and I think as players, Scotty Pendlebury leaves the midfield and all those, you've got to adjust to what your game is. And I think, as I said, one party has to approach the other. That cannot keep going on.